So it's Suebi against the Boii, and it's a super unfair matchup, of course, but I think Happysouls wanted a challenge. He wanted to see if he could make the Suebi work against the Boii, and of course they can work if they get a good Ariovistus charge off. Then they can wreck almost any infantry line. The big problem is dealing with the heavy horse. So in this battle I'm just going to play to the strength of the Boii, the sword followers, the heavy horse. I didn't bring any oath swords, so my build consists of 4 Levy Freemen, 2 Celtic warriors, or make that 4 Celtic warriors, 6 sword followers, so only 10 swords. Then I have 6 cavalry. For Happysouls we have 6 spear levy, we have 4 Germanic scouts, we have 3 round shield swords, 3 wolf warriors, 4 sword masters, and 2 more Germanic scout riders. So when you see a deployment like this, it usually means that Ariovistus is coming up, and I checked the general, and indeed Ariovistus was coming up. So I thought I'd mess with Suebi a bit, and that's why I brought the noble horse general. Suebi needs its Ariovistus to charge, and what usually happens is they will activate Ariovistus, and then it will be a race to try and get away from Suebi before Ariovistus, before the charge bonus happens, because all of these units are going to absolutely wreck my infantry if fast charge hits. But I noticed something, and that is that he is not protecting his round shield swords and his wolf warriors. So he's keeping his spear levy on the flanks. I'm going to send out my general. I'm going to use Intimidate on the Swordmaster General, so he isn't able to activate Ariovistus. And then I'm going to Ariovistus his army. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge in all of my heavy horse into his very weak center here. I'm going to eat some javelins, take some fire, but doesn't really matter. This is an all-in YOLO charge. So the round shield swords are getting caught on the charge, perfect. I'm continuing into the wolf warriors. And I'm also able to tie down most of his sword masters because they are in a very weird formation. So I take a lot of damage on my heavy horse here, but it's totally worth it. So my heavy horse is getting wrecked by missiles here, not getting a huge amount of kills. But more importantly, this is going to mean that Suebi has to keep moving backwards. So Suebi isn't going to be able to activate Ariovistus. Sending my Celtic warriors against the spear levy, sending my sword followers in against the sword masters, and they are now going to be attacked in the rear. In the center, his round shield swords are dying to sword followers, and the army is so disorganized now. The wolf warriors are turning around. He's activating fast charge, but he's activating fast charge to get away faster, presumably now, because it's going to increase the movement speed. But I'm too close in pursuit here. Not much going on other than me just rushing after his units, trying to do as much damage as possible. He's going to turn around when he gets his charge bonus, and this is going to be massive. He's going to do a lot of damage to these sword followers. But the Suebi army is so disorganized, it's lost so many men, lost most of its supporting cheap spear units. And the fast charge was only really activated on these units, but I guess those were the most important units. So this swordmaster probably isn't going to be able to make it into combat with its charge bonus intact. This unit's kind of stuck on these two units. The wolf warriors are getting defeated, and fast charge is still in effect, so fast charge is going to do a lot of damage to these sword followers. But I'm going to get a good charge with a second unit of sword followers against his swordmasters. Javelins incoming from all sides from the Germanic scouts sniping my general, so I have to pull away my general there. Surrounding the swordmasters with Celtic warriors, giving them a nice charge with heavy horse, charging after the spear levy. Very micro-intensive game this. Wolf warriors getting charged by cavalry and infantry. It's going to take them down quickly, winning decisively on the flanks. So now he has his strong swordmaster unit left, but they are all tied down in melee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up. I've used Intimidate once more to stop him from using the Pride ability. So Pride isn't going to be in effect for at least some time. Chasing after the Germanic scouts with a very depleted unit of heavy horse. And now it's just time to start surrounding the Suebi army. So this can be a nice trick to use that can really mess with the Suebi player's head if you use Intimidate, if you have a cavalry general, and then you just rush up, Intimidate, and rush the hell out of the Suebi army. Not a very safe strategy. It is by no means sure to work. It would not have worked if Happysouls had put his spear levy in the center, I think, then there would be too many javelins destroying me. But the plan was to take out as many supporting units as possible, and I was able to do that fairly effectively. So now I have a lot of units left against his swordmasters. I can go for rear charges for days with my noble horse, doing a lot of damage to the swordmasters. They're almost dead. And I still have a lot of units left on the field. So Suebi with Ariovistus can be super dangerous, but also super vulnerable, because so much depends on getting the Ariovistus ability off. Sword followers doing some nice work here against the swordmasters. My noble horse general is free to go for another rear charge, and that should destroy the swordmasters. So rear charge plus war cry, and he was probably going to break anyway. So general broke, shattered. More charges incoming against the swordmasters. Just chasing away the Germanic scout riders with my cheap Levi Freeman. Doing very important work here in just chasing away the Germanic scouts. Now there's not a whole lot of Suebi left on the field. My general is free to do more charges. Getting kind of stuck there, but going for another rear charge against the swordmasters. Very tired, the general recently died, so this should be over momentarily. And there we go, Suebi army chain routes. Let's have a look at the kills. So 1700 versus 971, and you can see that none of the supporting units were able to be effective. Round shield swords and wolf warriors getting charged by cavalry is going to have a bad time. Most of my units got some kills due to charging after Suebi that was running away with fast charge instead of running towards me. And I have to be fair to Happysouls here, because he tried Ariovistus. This was a very specific case where I used my noble horse general to just stop Ariovistus and countercharge the Suebi, but a suicide tactic like what I used now is not really recommended. It can go both ways. You have very little control over your units. And when me and Happysouls play, I have to say he usually gets the best of the games. He usually wins, but sometimes I'm able to pull off a victory. And I thought this was a funny and upload-worthy victory just because of shutting down Ariovistus and then going Ariovistus with the Boii on the Suebi. So very fun, intense barbarian game this. Strength and honor.